Welcome to the secret society. Strangers?
I fucking love Star Wars.
I know.
Jen's just like, okay, boys, let's go.
I've never seen Star Wars, much to my husband's horror.
I see. I would think you, especially the originals, I think you would love.
That's what I keep hearing, but I haven't
Because
done
you
it.
like the practical effects and like the more cheesier side of things.
That's true.
The first Star Wars movie is technically like a terrible movie.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
got a great story, but like it's
So
there's
cheesy and chintzy.
mistakes in the background. You can totally tell props are like garbage can covers and shit.
Oh,
Like, yeah, it's
I do like
he
that.
did it on like no budget.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And then now it's just so much money.
Yeah, so much money.
Fucked up storylines and shit.
The books are the best.
The books are good too. Yeah. Did I finish? I don't remember if I finished the new Thrawn one.
It's crazy though, now that like most of like the old Republic books aren't canon anymore.
I know, well, because they sucked. Not those. Sorry, the new ones they did.
Yeah.
Those like with the kids in the the old Republic sucked.
I hope you keep some of that Star Wars talk.
All right, well, so if I'm keeping that, welcome back to the Secret Society of Strangers.
Society?
Strangers from strangers in society.
Strangers on the internet?
The secret
Strangers. Society. Oh, welcome, stranger. Secret society. Strangers. Society. Welcome to the secret society. Strangers?
I'm Lee. I'm your host here with my good friends Josh and Jen.
What it do?
Hello.
Heyo. All right, guys. This is a doozy. You guys need to buckle up for this one.
I don't have any seatbelts.
Well, if you're driving, buckle up. You should be buckled anyway. If you're standing, sit. If you're holding a child, put it down. If you're holding a drink, finish it. We are going to be talking about weather manipulation, like the whole shebang. We're going to talk about HAARP, hail suppression, cloud seeding, the more interesting theories in hurricane creation. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, because, why just guess the weather when you can just literally change it or attempt?
Attempt.
So,
I mean,
like,
they're
this just all sounds like straight up, like, comic book, like, science and all the conspiracy theories. You just adjust your little tinfoil hats, like,
Yeah.
and yeah, I can't believe we're actually doing this, like, a very conspiracy theory seeded
Oh yeah,
episode.
this is. See, that's kind of why I picked it, because we haven't really done like a real tinfoil hat conspiracy. Aliens are real now, so they don't count.
Yeah.
That is very true. But, this topic does come with its side of ethical drama as well. Who's going to get the rain? Who doesn't get rain? And, who would think that playing Mother Nature was a great idea in the first place?
Of course, America.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's easy.
But the real question here is, does the rain in Spain, you see it in the plane?
fall mainly on the plane.
That one. Yep. I knew it rhymed, and I knew plane was in there.
Yeah, right.
But I was already committed.
It doesn't. That's not like a riddle, right? That's more of like a
I think it's like a nursery rhyme.
code word. I saw it like a
Activates
spy
a
says that to
sleeper
another
cell.
spy. Yeah, like
Mhm.
the rain in Spain falls mainly on the plane.
Like a fly is in the ointment. The eagle has landed.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right, whatever. All right. First, of course, I have to do what I have to do. I need all y'all to do me a favor. Stop what you're doing right now. Go smash that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications so you don't miss any more of our episodes. We were just talking before we got on here about some stuff we're doing in the future. I'm pumped. You should be pumped. It also helps us keep the lights on in this place, or at least my place.
Oh man. So yeah, whether you're team science, team conspiracy, or you're just here to see what the fuck happens, like that's where I'm at.
Yeah.
The weather, it's just gonna get weird. So, Lee, if you want to jump right in, smash some theories, and maybe make it rain.
Ooh, make it rain. All
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
let's do
yeah,
this. Let's go. All right, first I'm going to set the stage. So it's the Cold War, tensions are high. America and the Soviet Union are fighting for global domination. They are pulling out all the stops. They're using spy satellites. They're using their nuclear arsenals. They're testing covert experiments. They're literally just at every step trying to outmaneuver each other for dominance. And it's not just territory that they're fighting for. They're fighting for like technological superiority and like to control everything that's going on the planet, including the weather.
And during this climate of paranoia and innovation, some truly wild ideas were born, right?
Exactly. Some that are not even good. Like they're just all bad. Some have practical applications, but some are just terrible ideas. One of the first ones that I'm going to talk about is started in the Vietnam War. They called it Operation Popeye.
Wait a minute. So, did this have to do with like a super soldier program or like,
No,
super
actually,
spinach?
that would make way more sense if it was a super soldier program.
Right, because if you're going to control the weather, why don't you just make it a cartoon villain's plan? Like, oh man.
It does. It just screams Doctor Doom.
Yeah, Doctor Doom, or I'm just picturing Doctor Evil from Austin Powers for some reason, and just him miserably failing at controlling the weather.
Just sharks with lasers on their heads. That
Oh,
would control the
man.
weather. So, like I said, this is during the Vietnam War. America is desperate to cut supply lines from the enemy, so they're trying to stop the North Vietnam from traveling south on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. The Ho Chi Minh Trail literally goes the whole way through Vietnam almost and branches off. They tried to do this in the height of monsoon season. So their whole idea was like, if we can make it rain enough, we can flood this trail, we can flood all their supply lines, like, and make it literally impossible to traverse and get their troops or supplies through the quagmire.
So this is technically how cloud seeding sort of started.
This is the jump off of cloud seeding in the like military sense. They've been trying it a little bit on the scientific side more.
So I think during this time, like in like the Pentagon, where they're just trying to make ideas, they're literally throwing spaghetti against the wall and seeing what sticks.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Definitely. At this time, they're literally trying anything and everything.
All right, cool.
How did they pull that off? And I guess, did it work?
Well, it's a good question. And like Josh said, it relied on cloud seeding. So they would try to cloud seed the area, like I said, during monsoon season and make it rain enough that like it was torrential downpours all the time, all day, mudslides, like waist high rain. Actually, if you've seen Forrest Gump, most people have seen Forrest Gump. There's the scene when he's talking about all kinds of rain. That is what you would picture actually happening to the Viet Cong trying to travel down the Ho Chi Minh Trail.
Yeah. I mean, might as well think about it like that classic Cold War mentality. I mean, if you can't outgun them, just drown them.
I'm out of ammo.
Oh, crap.
All right, but like I said, Operation Popeye wasn't even the first attempt, and it's not the craziest. So in 1950, there was a project called Project Argus. It involved detonating nuclear weapons in the Earth's upper atmosphere.
Because that's always a great idea.
I agree.
Yeah, right? To study how charged particles from a nuclear explosion could impact the Earth's magnetic field.
I feel like there's
Like,
just some
right
things
on,
we
guys.
shouldn't fuck with.
But like you were saying, it was like someone was in a room and was like, nukes in space? Johnson,
Fuck
you're
yeah.
a fucking genius. What? Yeah.
No wonder we're so screwed. Environmentally
Yeah, no
speaking.
shit, right?
Well, yeah, I mean, how could that not be like catastrophic? Like,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
The
mean,
guy-
like, wouldn't there be like ethical implications also?
lots of implications.
yeah, there was just a few actually, just a wee bit, like everything involved in it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They set a dangerous precedent, actually, setting up the fact that like this is something that the government is willing to do to gain or hold control. And I, as a regular citizen of this planet, don't know what scientist would have ever been like, this is something we're going to try. So
Some
This is
crazy
why we have
physicist somewhere.
mad scientists. This is why we love like that character in those movies because
it's
apparently
like
they're
you said,
real.
it's like Dr. Evil. Yeah.
I can't wait for this, like, the end of this episode. It's just going to be like a plot twist that this is just a plot for the new Doctor Doom movie.
Right? Yeah. Damn it. I got my Marvel money. How'd you know? I got my Funko Pops up here. My Marvel Funko Pops. Again, I don't know who signed off on this. Project Argus was just heinous. Like, it's just insane to think that, like, the after effects of setting nukes into space was going to be, like, beneficial to anyone. Stupid. But, I mean, it's literally why we sit here and have these episodes and have these massive conspiracies, because the government does wild, crazy shit.
Right. And I'm just glad that they name them also wild, cryptic things and or
Yeah.
random office supplies.
Yes.
Because, like, the real thing that you're doing, like, oh, project launch nukes in space, see what happens, question mark.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Doesn't sound as appealing as Operation Argus
Not near as
and or
cool.
Popeye.
That sounds
Yeah,
except for Popeye. At least I don't know. Argus sounds a little more adventurous.
it sounds like it could be
more
for something. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah,
some thought
Argus
was
definitely
behind it.
has that like sleek sounding, and then Popeye is just like your big clunker.
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
Argus was 1950. By the time they got to Vietnam, maybe they're running out of names and they're just fucking trying anything. Guy
Dude's
just watched a
watching
Popeye cartoon. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like Operation Paperclip. Somebody was just looking around. You're like,
Yeah, yeah.
Paperclip, fucking Johnson, you're a genius again.
Or it's like we're gonna have these odd mutations like Popeye after releasing unknown radiation exposure and whatnot into space.
It's a good point,
saying.
man.
That is
Where
a
it's a little
good
bumpy and fucked up like Popeye for no reason.
Yeah.
It's a fucked up situation. But
Yeah.
we'll get back into conspiracies in a little while. First, let me tell you guys a little bit about how the cloud seeding actually works and like what they're using to do that.
Oh man, I hope you put in like a little cut in of like Bill Nye or something about how clouds work.
I could. I don't even have to do it though. I could just find Bill Nye to do it and say it.
That would be
But
hilarious.
if I can't figure that out in real time later on, I'll explain it now.
Yes.
Hopefully dispel some of the crazy paranoia that goes around with cloud seeding, because that's one of those buzzwords. You say cloud seeding in a room full of conspiracy theorists, and everyone's like, "What? Who? What? Huh?
Adjust
Poison?
your tinfoil
Huh?
hats now, people.
Yeah. So, first of all, again, with these names, cloud seeding is so abstract that it just leaves so much space to like fill in what they're actually doing.
To me, that just sounds like you're just making clouds.
Mhm.
I wouldn't even like suspect it would be anything to do with like rain or anything like that. I'm just like, oh yeah, they're just making more clouds because that makes sense.
They're trying to block the sun, which is also
yeah,
something
harmful
to try to
UV
do.
rays.
Yeah.
Well, essentially, it's more like weather nudging.
Mm.
So they introduce particles of silver iodine or salt into the clouds, and that basically creates like a nuclei for water particles to be attracted to, essentially making them heavier and making them fall like rain. So they are planting things in the clouds, so cloud seeding, but like you said, it's a little bit of a stretch to like figure that out, that they're not just like flying a plane and like puffing clouds out of it.
Just like chemtrails.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, the delivery method, that's kind of where things kind of get murky.
It is planes, yeah. I mean,
We were just literally talking about chemtrails, and boom, you got these flying low clouds, and it just checks every box for a good conspiracy theory.
especially when
Shout
you don't
outs
know.
to the chemtrail crowd. But seriously, no, let's
my,
get to the fucking science of it.
my wife's cousin, yeah. I'm just trying to think about like it's a cousin's brother, but also the cousin. So yeah. He, when I was young, so I was probably like 17, 18 is the first time I met him. And like we were driving down the LIE on Long Island, and he saw one of those things, and this was like he was just went off. He was just like, that stuff up there, they're killing us, they're polluting us. It's going to kill all the crops. That's why nothing grows anymore.
That's
like,
every time I see a plane with like clouds going behind it, somebody literally says those same words. Oh, they're killing us. Look at that. Blah blah blah. Like, shut the fuck up. It's just science. It's the upper atmosphere and friction
exactly.
and things.
Well, it's specialized planes filled with specialized chemicals. So there is silver iodine, like I mentioned, salt, calcium chloride's also used. I'm sure they're used in various degrees of mixture and also separately. And then they like pimp a plane and put all these like fancy little jets on the wings. If you see them, they look like reverse like guns.
Yeah.
But it just shoots chemicals.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, pretty much.
So, I mean, like, what about the crew? I mean, aren't these folks like, the weather equivalent to stunt pilots? They just suit up, prep the craft, double check all your cloud guns, and then take to the skies. What are you doing? Just flying into like other cloud systems, like a Category 5 hurricane or some shit like that?
Like, is it dangerous or boring?
Yeah,
I feel like Tom Cruise would be doing this in a movie at some point in his career.
He's probably practicing right now. It's really all about timing. So yeah, the pilots obviously are probably some of the better pilots because your altitude matters, where you are in the cloud, and your speed, timing, and all of that. I'm sure there's a certain amount of like knowledge that you need to know about like meteorology.
Yo, shout outs to pilots real quick though, man. Like that's a badass profession.
It is.
That's a scary profession, bro. Thank God someone doesn't
do it.
Yeah.
No way.
So shout outs to you guys, you pilots.
You guys deserve every round of applause that you can't probably hear from the cockpit that people on the plane give you.
Please don't be listening to this while you're flying the plane.
I don't like flying. I'll do it, but I don't like it.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
I love flying. I've never taken a train though.
I would like to do a train.
I want to do a train across America.
Yeah.
Boom. Murder mystery train.
Oh no.
The Orient Express.
But we should take back to the skies.
Sorry, yeah. So I want to though give some sort of, I don't know, not pat on the back, but kind of. I mean, for the conspiracy theories and the chemtrails, things like that. I mean, you do see these things. You see, and I'll go out on a limb and say that maybe if you're over 10 years old, you start to realize that the government is not the most trustworthy possibly of all entities you come across. I'll say that nicely. I mean, you see a low flying plane, you see that you've got some parts of the government telling you global warming, whether you believe that or not depends. But so I could see where you could take a look at this stuff going on amongst weather balloons and whatever quote things we have in our skies, and people starting to get their the wheels turning a little bit. And cloud seeding would probably be your last thought. It would have been mine before this.
Yeah, wouldn't have been my first thought.
Not at first, absolutely not.
Definitely mind control.
I would think some kind of like crop manipulation or something, or whatever.
They're trying to put fluoride in the air.
Just killing the plants, man.
Sorry, Chan.
I thought I was gonna lose it. I did.
So as Lee was saying earlier, the particles act like a nuclei, and this nuclei attracts water droplets within the cloud. And the droplet grows, just becomes too heavy, and it falls to the earth, just like every other drop of
Poor
rain.
droplet.
Just a little droplet. But
Mhm.
here's the other thing. It doesn't always work.
No, it's
So you
Yeah.
put in all this effort, you suit up Tom Cruise and, get Goose and Maverick up there, and then all of a sudden you just get a little
A drizzle.
Sprinkle.
Everybody hates a drizzle.
no.
a light drizzle, a mist,
First of all, I'm offended
maybe.
you forgot Iceman.
I
Goose
Oh,
and Maverick,
yeah.
yeah,
I was picking out Val Kilmer's image, and I was like, I can't remember Val Kilmer's name until just now.
no, I mean, but so I guess that's also a good point. Top Gun. When you watch those planes, like the F-16s and stuff, like they are creating condensation trails,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just because they're like literally vaporizing the water in the air.
Nope,
because
those
it's
are
always-
the same
That's
thing as
chemtrails.
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 That's
Definitely
100%
chemtrails.
chemtrail. That's
Yep.
what they want you to think.
I'm wrong again. God, no. See, I thought I knew something about
You need to
that.
retune your foil hat. You're on the wrong frequency, brother.
I tried.
Your
to stay
tinfoil hat is looking
skeptical.
real loose.
It's like that cheap dollar store tinfoil. It's like super light. Like the shit they use on the space stations that you just barely can catch a breeze.
I was cussing that this Thanksgiving. I was like, why did I go off brand?
No, always.
You never
yeah.
go off, Frank.
No,
Reynolds
not an
wrap
aluminum
all
foil.
day.
Absolutely not. I had a whole diatribe about that. Anyway.
Well, like you said, it doesn't always work. It takes an entire team of people, meteorologists, people on the ground. They need to track the snow, the rain. They need to find out, like, I guess what would be hard and the science behind it that I guess like is above us is like, so they know it's going to rain, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have whatever prediction. So they say 6 inches, right? 6 inches of rain. And
That's a lot
then
of
they
rain.
cloud seed. And then it rains like 7. Is that success or was your guess just off?
Right.
They're probably gonna check that as a success. They're like, oh nope, we got our 6 that we planned, and that 7 was just shout outs to Sky Daddy.
Never wrong.
Right.
Sky Daddy makes an entrance again.
So I just have to though that doesn't seem like for as long as they've been trying to manipulate the weather that just doesn't seem like great success to me, scientifically speaking, which would be why there's room for conspiracy theories that's not
Exactly.
really what they're doing, because why would you keep doing the same thing if it's clearly seems to be just luck?
Most of the time. And what's funny about conspiracy theorists, like to your point, is like they're sitting usually on a bright sunny day watching this plane go by because they can see it
Yeah.
without any cloud cover or rain falling on their face, and they're seeing the trails. But when there is one of those like massive storms and everyone's like, oh, it was the government, like no one saw a plane.
Sure.
So it's one of those things like there's holes in everyone's story. The government,
So
the
many
conspiracy
holes.
theorists,
Yeah.
it's just holes.
I mean, yeah, it's also just the perfect setup for any sort of paranoia. I mean, planes releasing chemicals into the clouds, yeah, that's just sounds like amazing and straight out of a sci-fi thriller right off the bat. And then you just got all the secrecy around government programs, so it's just tinfoil.
Liars.
Mhm.
Everyone's a liar.
Everybody's a liar. Don't trust the government, people.
If you're watching this show and you haven't figured out that yet, ugh.
Oh yeah, I'm so sorry. It's harsh. It's a hard lesson to learn.
Not really the government type on this pod. But to everyone's point, it's not really that theoretical anymore because it's being used in like a way more practical way. So the United Arab Emirates actually uses cloud seeding in Dubai to manipulate the weather and make one of the driest places on earth have downpours. and snow, as a matter of fact. They made it
Well,
snow.
that's
a couple
crazy.
weeks ago. Yeah.
At what point do they have too much money?
Yeah.
Very good point.
So I don't need to tell this whole story, but I ran into a guy that was from Dubai.
Mm-hmm.
Very flashy, all the rings, all the stuff, like whatever. Talks about how like it's like a tourist hotspot and everybody goes there. But the more he's telling me about it, the more it literally just sounds like the bottom level in Star Wars of like Coruscant, or like the most futuristic slum that you could imagine. Like it's all just neon lights and back alleys. Like,
oh, so it's Blade Runner.
exactly. That's what it literally sounds like he's describing to me. It's just like fancy ass cars and like.
So like they're Vegas.
Nothing. Yeah, it's like the new Vegas. Like I actually said that to Chris the other day. Like instead of like when the world ends, you know, everyone says like Vegas. You'll see like the pyramid in the sand and like the Sphinx and all that shit, like from the MGM Grand.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's gonna be Dubai. Dubai is gonna be like in the desert. People are gonna be like goggled up trying to make it there. It's like the last place of civilization. And it's got all the water because cloud seeding went wrong and like just sucked all the planet's water into Dubai.
It's just downpouring in Dubai.
Like, so like everywhere else is completely dry, but Dubai is water world.
Kevin Costner's just there on a wooden float.
Yeah, but like all the floats are like.
I keep forgetting that you're drinking.
It's the perfect setup. All right. It's also.
I'm good. I'm a professional. I can, can suck it back in. I don't know.
So how has Dubai been experimenting with cloud seeding?
So, like we say, they were using planes originally. Dubai has moved on from planes to drones. So,
of course,
of course.
Obviously, everyone is aware now in this day and age the power of drones, the capability to program them like a billion at a time.
Yeah, I love watching those cool, intricate drone shows.
Mm-hmm. But now imagine that you programmed a cloud seed. So
it's so much more effective than Tom Cruise.
Exactly. You don't just have 3 pilots. You got 300 pilots.
Boom.
It's like Weather 2.0.
Ooh.
But yeah, they are fucking out there, man. Middle of Dubai, it's raining in the desert.
So you're just literally like, I bet you, I don't know, maybe they got lasers, so it's like drones with freaking laser beams attached to their freaking heads.
Zapping all
and they're just zapping clouds and it's just raining, right?
Mm-hmm. It's pretty much
it just sounds like a thing that would just make people nervous, as it has been, because who decides where it rains? Who is it? The Illuminati? Is it the shadow government? Is it the New World Order? What are these unintended consequences? Are you solving one problem and then just making another problem somewhere else?
That's what I'm afraid of.
Same. Exactly. So I guess the science is fascinating. The ethical questions to me are outweighing a bit of the, that's great, we can do that. However, one thing we've learned is that, you know,
we learned something?
Well, that's true. You're
Doesn't
right.
sound like actually, we have.
Yeah, you're right. We are history repeating itself. You're absolutely right. However, so in that vein, when somebody figures something out as great as making it rain in the desert, then what's next? What kind of power does that give to a country that has that on lockdown, and it's not just sort of a lucky extra inch here and there?
Well, I just hope that somebody just gives somebody else the Uncle Ben speech about power and responsibility.
With great power comes great responsibility.
But I mean, it is
as a teenager sitting in his room, like in one ear out the other. I ain't hear you, ma, because we literally like just closed the book and started over again.
Pretty much,
it's
just a slippery slope. I mean, yeah, you've got literal deserts like Dubai and the UAE, and you can just have potential agricultural uses with cloud seeding. Yeah, I could see that. Produce more food and world hunger, all that. Bono, yeah. But it's got way more ethical implications and stuff like that, and it just makes it sound like it's out of a supervillain's handbook.
It's sketchy as fuck.
Well, and here's the thing too. Things like Roundup and other things were great too, using chemicals and doing all these cool things that we were just great innovations. So how many years is it going to take for somebody to be like, oh yeah, remember back in 2020, whatever, when they could make it rain in the desert? Guess what? The cause and effect to that was.
That's my point. Yeah, there's going to be just a fucked up world, and Dubai will just be underwater, and the rest of it will be super dry.
Didn't they have like a recent like thing about Roundup causing cancer?
Oh no!
Yeah,
what?
there's a
Yeah, it's
class
like,
action lawsuit. We're going to talk about
What?
Monsanto in a little bit.
oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a 100%
excuse me.
thing.
Because so yeah, like you were
Mhm.
saying, Jen, cloud seeding sounds like a great idea at the time and stuff like that with all the chemicals and whatever. But then like, who knows what's gonna happen down the road? And we're like, oh, well, actually, we just killed a bunch of people with this.
Right.
The
They all
problem is
look like
don't
Popeye
break
for
it
some
up.
reason. I can't understand why.
Yeah, well, exactly. And like we were saying, there's all this like shadowy government secrecy just leaves everybody open to make up their own theory on what is actually going on. So I think it's about time that we suss out some of the more interesting weather manipulation conspiracies.
Yeah.
Hmm.
All right.
I'm ready.
So who's gonna get the blame for it today? You know,
I don't know. It's
Bond
usually
villain? Is it Elon Musk?
it's gonna say the Dems. It's definitely the Dems this go around.
That's what I've been
Oh.
hearing. I think it's lizard people.
I forgot about them. I didn't even put anything about them in this whole thing.
That's what's because they want you to throw them off their scaly tail.
But you know what? It's probably actually like all of the above, lizard people included, and the New World Order.
Makes more
so
sense.
You mentioned them before because they are one of like the biggest groups for being pointed to when you're talking about this conspiracy of weather manipulation. And if you don't know what the NWO is, it is a secretive global elite organization that's like hell-bent on one world government. So like everyone is controlled by one government, and there's a lot behind that theory that I think maybe we could do a whole episode on.
Oh yeah. I mean, we are a
Because
secret society. There are other secret
That's true. They
societies.
are a secret
Very true.
society. So like people think that like the NWO is literally causing droughts and like making hurricanes for global domination. So like depopulation and shit like that. I don't know.
Or they invested in it.
Yo, I am cutting that shit out of here. I'm not playing around. Do not mention those two on this fucking podcast. Find me in Bay's basement, yo. Like that. Next to see you.
A lot. And we could not ransom you out. That's a fact.
There's gonna be two bleeps right over those names.
So, but, and I am not in any way, shape, or I can't get Bay out of my head now. Nope, you have to bleep it 3 times. Sorry. Oops. I'm so sorry. Great. We're gonna be in the basement together. So people actually believe that this is being used to purposefully cause droughts, and they are engineered solely for to push forward a global agenda. Is that okay?
Correct. And you are extremely lucky if you have not met one of these people. And you're even more lucky if it's not like your mechanic or something. Because once they start, like events like Hurricane Katrina or Hurricane Sandy, conspiracy theorists argue that those super hurricanes were basically created by the government or the NWO. Katrina essentially to like destroy New Orleans and that southern area and basically make them more reliant on the government.
Oh, then I bet Helene has been an absolute, I want to say,
I
a
don't
gold
even know
mine
what's
if
gonna
you're because a hurricane in the mountains is not something we had on our bingo card forever.
Yeah, no, that's what you get with fucking around with Mother Nature, man. She fucks back.
Definitely. And it's funny that you
Cloud
said
seed
that
once, cloud seed twice. You cannot cloud seed thrice.
No, never. It's funny you said that because like that was for me when that Hurricane Helene was one of the first times where like it was very jumbled in real time on what was going on.
Oh yeah.
Like news reports were telling you one thing, like presidential candidates were telling you something else, and like people on the ground were telling you a third thing. And we still don't even know what's going on.
Well, I can, as an Appalachian, I can say that if I've never been one to 100% rely on the media, but I wouldn't go so far as to say I was just thought that they were totally lying or making things up or just manipulating at the time before. However, yeah, we still have places that are reporting like 3 fatalities over like 3 counties, and first responders are just like they've had it, and they're like, absolutely freaking not. We're in the hundreds. Count the bodies. Like they have, like they're here. You can go, or the body parts, which is more horrible to say, but that's what they're finding because it was such a major hurricane with a hurricane, as you can imagine, in the mountains with landslides, because that's what happens when you have a hurricane in the mountains. It's landslides you're dealing with. And Asheville,
yeah, because a hurricane is not supposed to be in the mountains.
Exactly. And see,
what
Asheville,
are you doing here? Hurricane, go home.
Asheville has such a large homeless population that they don't know. They don't know yet.
Yeah.
And so it's a
shout outs to Asheville.
It's been a really scary, especially if you are someone that, I don't know, maybe that did kind of rely on media, even your local media. I'm not even talking like the whole Fox versus, MSNBC, that it is interesting, to find out that yeah. And for me, us living here, to know that like you guys that are, don't have that local, connection to people, boots on the ground, that the rest that they don't know, that they think, oh, it wasn't that bad. I mean, it sucks anybody died, but it was only this many people, and it's just not, it's not true. And you're like, why are they lying about it? It's weird.
2 completely different stories if you go online now.
Oh, absolutely.
You can still get like, oh, everything wasn't as bad as they said it was, and there was only a few people, and then you got people that are like, no, I just pulled like 3 bodies out of a reservoir today.
Yeah.
So media sucks. I'm not the media.
Yeah. Jesus.
Sorry for that tangent, by the way, but it's
I mean,
it's a very real thing.
People should know.
It is. Yeah. And it's yeah.
I'm sounding like a conspiracy theorist on here tonight.
Yeah, no. I've never once heard of a hurricane going on land, and if it did, it wasn't as strong as that one.
Word. Yeah, fuck things up.
Yeah, but so how do we feel about, like HAARP being behind some of these, like, with its high frequency radio waves being able to manipulate all these atmospheric conditions?
That freaks me out.
HAARP is like the lightning bolt for this. If cloud seeding is the buzzword for what they're doing, the person that's doing it is HAARP. The person will look at the cloud, the chemtrail, and go, that's HAARP.
See, I guess I don't really know what HAARP is. I know it's not like another version of AARP, but,
Which I am fucking eligible for. Did you know that? You don't have to pay $50 to be eligible for AARP. Josh, you're probably eligible for it too.
Damn! Shout out to AARP.
How old are you, Lee?
I'm 40.
Oh, well, I'm definitely eligible. I'm slightly
32.
older than you.
Yeah, you're eligible.
Damn.
I didn't sign up, but you can.
I mean,
I guess I don't really know what AARP is either, so I don't know any of these cool acronyms.
Well, I can tell you about HAARP.
Please do.
Excuse me, after I burp.
Sounds way cooler than AARP.
So HAARP is the High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program. Like I said, the undisputed king of weather manipulation conspiracies. On paper, it's a research facility. In the minds of conspiracy theorists, it's like a superstation for weather control.
Yeah, that definitely sounds like the plot of GoldenEye.
That does, man.
I mean,
It's
come on, you've
so
got a
hard.
remote
This is why
location in
conspiracy theories
Alaska,
get it.
military
why-
funding, rows of all these antennas. We all played GoldenEye on 64. Like, this is
Mhm.
exactly the plot of GoldenEye.
That's what it looks like. Yeah, it's just a giant field with, like, I mean, acres and acres of, like, government facility, like, satellites and shit. It's
And so they
wild
just
looking.
shoot radio waves into the atmosphere.
Essentially, yeah. So HAARP was launched in 1993. It was a joint project with the Air Force, the Navy, and DARPA. If
Ooh.
you're a conspiracy theorist, I'm sure you know what DARPA is.
They won a contract to put a railway on the moon. Just let that sink in.
What?
That's fucking wild.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I guess you could put a, yeah, why not?
Wait,
But-
so this just started in 93?
HAARP started in 93.
Okay, but we
DARPA-
know. Okay, go ahead,
Yeah.
Ben.
DARPA goes back
Forever.
way back, Cold War. It was
Okay.
actually ARP first, so it was ARPA first, and then they added the defense, which is the D. So yeah, they are a whole nother thing. So HAARP, the purpose is to study the ionosphere. It's the layer of the Earth's upper atmosphere. They are trying to improve communication and surveillance, navigation technology. What they say.
Allegedly.
Yeah, you seem
Yeah, so it's like I said,
yeah.
it's a massive, massive antenna array of high frequency radios. It looks, like Josh said, like literally out of a video game.
And because there's still, I know, of course, there's still some tie-in, I think, for some people with Dyatlov Pass, right? With
Ooh,
radio.
I don't know, but
Ooh.
I already started my notes on that, so I will come across that.
Well,
if
I thought it was Dyatlov Pass, but there's another situation that happened to a group, a teacher that had some students. It was also in Russia.
Oh yeah,
That, and I can't remember what the global
Do know
name
what you're
for that
talking
is.
about, too.
But
Yeah.
that one was definitely had the radio frequency stuff brought up.
Hey,
Just a hint
you're
for
up
future
to
things we're working on too. But that's why I was curious about the dates of when officially we might have gotten involved in.
yeah, DARPA's been around for a
studying
long
that.
time.
Okay.
Yeah, they've got their
Huh.
little grubby fingers and everything.
Mhm.
See, that scares
Um,
the crap out of me. Like messing with the radio. That scares me more than some of this other stuff.
It is scary. Little side note first, though, because we were talking about like HAARP using their technology to like improve GPS.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know they just found out that the makers of Pokemon Go used your geolocation to make one of the most sophisticated geolocation programs in the world?
Oh,
So
yeah, they
an-
have so many data points.
Anytime they wanted
Wow.
a new data point for a location, they put a Pokemon there. So they got endless pictures and foot traffic through that area. Like, so
My husband totally
Yeah,
helped them
Pokemon
out
Go is
here.
like the deepest
mhm,
surveillance app ever.
it really is. They people
They
just
got
found
us.
out now, and they're like, oh shit.
They got us.
Well, they always get us because even like with HAARP,
Yeah.
like their official story is scientific purposes with
Okay.
remote government-funded facilities.
Right.
Like,
Okay.
Bet you
on,
there's
like-
a UFO there.
I guarantee there's multiple. I guarantee some of these motherfuckers go to work in them shits at this point.
Mm.
Probably. That's what we're seeing, just people going to work in Tic Tacs.
Yeah, right. But one of the most popular ideas is that HAARP can superheat parts of the ionosphere, disturbing the jet streams, and that creates like influxes with the high and low pressure so they can steer storms. So if they need to push a storm, they'll create like a high pressure front to like help it push somewhere, and like they guess they could drop it to like pull it back and shit. I don't know. Fucking
How do you get
Wow.
a pilot's license to steer a storm? Like, what are the credentials for this?
I got a storm problem, like the Pied Piper.
Something like that, yeah. But I mean, you can storm steer. This thing can cause earthquakes. I mean, I'm sure it can do mind control because why the fuck not?
Yeah.
You know, let's just hope that there's at least one giant lever. I don't know why I want to keep saying leather.
Weather.
Lever called weather chaos. And somebody is able to pull it and have at least some sort of control over something.
I'm sorry. I'm so tickled because I know at least somebody my age is remembering the Jimmy Fallon SNL skit with the leather pants. Somebody is.
I
Somebody
no, I
is.
know. I've seen it. I'm sure I've seen it. I can't remember it. And Jimmy
Leather.
Fallon and like Horatio Sands were so funny together and
Yes.
shit.
They're like a leather.
In my head, while I was saying that, I was picturing Emperor's New Groove, where they're just pulling the levers, and then
The
it was
lever
just like
cup.
leather.
Yeah, but
Sorry.
conspiracy theories, they don't stop there. Some believe that HAARP was even responsible for the earthquake in Haiti. Others claim that HAARP was responsible for Hurricane Sandy, which I was like in the middle of. As another side note,
Oh damn!
that shit was crazy. Government made,
Probably.
maybe.
Wow.
And of course, like Josh alluded to, the infamous HAARP controls your mind theory, basically turning the ionosphere into some kind of antenna that could like zap signals into your brain.
Like kill John Lennon, or you could just read Catcher in the Rye for that one.
So let me guess. Hurricane Harvey gets roped into this too?
Exactly. Some theorists argue that Harvey was manipulated to create economic chaos in Texas, one of the most independent states in the United States. According to the NWO theory, events like these are meant to weaken the opposition to global unification by demonstrating how regions' powers can't handle their local disasters.
That's
by
true. They
themselves.
can't do snow. Remember the whole
Yeah,
snow
no.
thing?
Yeah, that shit like shut off power up here in North Dakota, and it blew my mind. It was like, wait, because of Texas?
What?
It's like
Oh,
quantum
wow.
entanglement shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but like nothing. Yeah, because when you've got a secret plan to take over the world, nothing screams efficient like steering hurricanes. Quick, deploy the storm machine! It's takeover time, boys.
Yeah,
Hurricane
right?
Ethel. Yep.
And it doesn't even stop there. There's also the idea that droughts and floods are being manipulated to control food supply. Examples of California's prolonged drought, people blame that on weather manipulation.
I mean, shit, I would too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's scary that it
Definitely
could
not
be
climate change and global
not at
warming,
all.
but yeah.
Not the fact that we're killing the fucking planet.
Yeah, but cloud seeding, NWO or NWA, which one ever.
NWO, a lot of people just think that like their whole goal is just to control the world's water. And obviously, if you can control water supply, you're kind of controlling life.
Reminds me of Tank
Domination.
Girl.
So basically, weather is a weapon. And
Yeah,
whoever
pretty
controls
much.
the rain is controlling the world. It's
Yep,
terrifying.
that is basically the nutshell theory of the NWA's chemtrails. Is that
The
they
MWAs.
are, and damn it, Ice Cube.
He's gonna get so mad at you now.
You're in
No,
another
and-
basement now.
I'd rather be in his basement.
That's
I'd
true.
rather be in his
As I
basement.
said
Give
I'd
it
rather be in
I was
Ice
like-
Cube's basement.
Yeah, I would too.
But no, conspiracy theorists think that the NWO plot is to basically poison the air through the chemtrails, either completely causing depopulation or complete mind control and just making you susceptible to their like, we are the government, we are right. Just put us
Yeah.
into global submission.
Because it just doesn't sound anything like global takeover, like ruining everyone's sunny day with all these chemtrails. Damn you, NWO.
NWO, they're out of pocket.
Real out of pocket. NWA should take care of NWO.
That is what should happen.
Yes.
I should get a shirt that says that, like NWO versus NWA. But we are not done yet, because then there's everyone's favorite conspiracy, from aliens to weather people, is Project Bluebeam.
Swamp gas.
Yeah, if you know anything about Project Bluebeam, it's one of the more inventive ideas, let's say. So according to their theory, is that, again, their whole idea is they're going to try to destabilize the government and make you rely on them. So their plan is to have either a religious figure show up holographically in the sky, or maybe like a alien invasion come in through holograms, which I don't know if that would work personally.
Yeah, how would you pull that off? Like, how would you create these holograms?
I don't know. I think it's a bad idea.
I have no words. So holograms and hurricanes, very ambitious.
They're going to control it all.
They've really thought this through. That's a very detailed, very complex. I'm picturing all of a sudden seeing Sky Daddy.
Again,
everybody's seeing Sky Daddy.
It's one of those situations where they were just like, let's throw all the ideas. All right, we could bring in biblical floods, but then we can show them Jesus.
What if it was Sky Daddy and he opened his mouth and it was just an armada of UAP?
That's actually pretty terrifying.
That would be so fucking scary.
To think it's almost like they Trojan horse Jesus. Like they were like, oh, everyone's like, he's back, the Messiah is back, and then all of a sudden, just fucking spaceships just come out of his mouth.
That
would be so fucking scary.
That's crazy.
I might be giving them ideas.
Somebody at the NSA is probably like, yo, I got to get this to the NWO super quick.
Just tripping, grabbing all that paper, like bumping into people in the hallway and shit. But the people who look for the conspiracies and look for these patterns, again, like we said, that's the thing. All these holes, and on top of the fact that these things tap right into the fears that we're talking about, it's very easy to see how programs like HAARP and their background of historical secrecy, people start connecting dots, and even though the dots don't actually connect and they lead nowhere, people love running up a conspiracy theory.
Yeah, it's just like, like the witch hunts. We didn't understand what natural science was, and we just thought it was, people being witches and shit. It's just science that we don't know.
Right.
So we're just, it must be some sort of government conspiracy or something, but, who knows?
Problem is, half the time we're right.
I know, and I just sometimes wish we weren't, but we wouldn't have this great hobby of ours if we weren't.
That's true.
Yeah.
I mean, I would just have a full-out true crime podcast then.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
But, it does really, especially when now our trust as a society, an institution as a whole, is at, I would say, an absolute all-time low. I think just about anybody would agree with that. Yeah. Whether you're into conspiracies or not. And again, I've said before, it's like the more secrecy that you put around things and you give no information. I go back to Pentagon spokeswoman lady, just like stares at the floor when she asked about, and I'm like, you don't help.
They need a new spokesperson.
Yeah, and you don't help when you're basically acknowledging, yes, there are extraterrestrial or whatever, but no, you can't see the bodies, or you just don't. What are our imaginations?
Well, that's exactly. Show me the fucking bodies.
Yeah, I know you got them. Aliens. Show me them aliens. Where are they at?
Yeah, it's just crazy.
But obviously, like you're saying, the lack of transparency combined with real examples of manipulation make these theories almost inevitable. Whether or not there's any truth to them, I don't know. I think they're more of a reflection of the population's anxieties and, the things that we fear but don't know. Because, there's the known knowns and the unknown unknowns.
And the known unknowns? Oh, man. Yeah. I love the Boondocks. But I mean,
just-
if nothing else, all of this makes for like some pretty wild stories. I mean, you've got hurricanes, chemtrails, holograms, Sky Daddy. I mean, what's next? Freaking weather lasers from the moon?
Josh, they're
Don't.
Jewish lasers from the moon.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Why
I
do
don't
they
know
have
if
to
you
be
got that.
specifically Jewish lasers? I mean, because the Jews control everything.
I got it straight from Marjorie Taylor Greene.
Ah, that's
Jewish
fact checked.
space lasers. Fact checked. 100% true. She never lies.
Mhm.
I'm just picturing lasers with little yarmulkes.
It's just a yarmulke shooting a laser.
Pretty much.
Oh, that'd be funny.
Oh, okay.
Obviously, conspiracy theorists love a good theory, and if you've been alive on the continent of America and North America for the last 10 years, 15 years, you've seen some pretty insane storms, and earthquakes and floods, and you name it, a corner of America has been hit with it. Fires. Haiti
Do you
was hit
think
with an
HAARP is?
earthquake.
Do you think HAARP is got anything to do with wildfires?
It's those
Probably.
Jewish lasers, man.
Oh, that's true.
Pew pew.
From the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Can't forget
That's
that.
exactly.
I forgot.
Well, again, this is going to completely sidetrack us. The whole fire in Hawaii
Oh.
Laser.
is sus as fuck.
Mhm.
The way that fire burned, the fact that it was like the perfect area that all these rich white people wanted to buy, is now just vacant lots that they just going to buy for dirt cheap.
Oh yeah,
Same
so
thing's
that's what happens
happening.
when you.
Yep,
Same
same
thing's
thing's
happening
happening
where?
here with the asphalt and all of that. Same type of deal. Exact same type of deal.
And that's why, man, these conspiracy theories. Every time
They-
there's a storm, it's going to get backed up with another theory. Like I was saying, in Haiti, that earthquake that decimated Haiti, people blame that on HAARP. Sandy, which I was in, which was a fucking insane hurricane,
That's crazy.
was blamed on HAARP. They are literally blamed. Like you brought up Helene, the new hurricane. Like every hurricane should just be named HAARP. HAARP hurricane. Or like HAARP, like that should be the last name. So you give everyone a first name. So like Hurricane Andrew should be Hurricane Andrew HAARP. To shut all conspiracy theories up and claim it.
Just own up to it.
Right? Everybody just is like HAARP did it. It's like the Slim Shady of Eminem. Blame it on him.
Yeah, more and more see like exactly why people would think this.
Oh yeah,
I
no,
mean,
it just keeps
exactly.
stacking up why it would be conspiracy theory gold.
Because again, it's like if you're just scientists doing scientist shit, then why so secretive?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, HAARP's capabilities supposedly aren't that advanced. Like, they're not doing earthquake and stuff. But I would find it funny if there is some super geeky scientist that literally is just actually watching radio waves. But, like, he's on Reddit. Like, yo, HAARP is doing some crazy shit right now, bro. Like,
Just
he's
trying to hype
making his
himself
job
up.
sound like super crazy. He's at Thanksgiving dinner, like, yo, you know that earthquake? It was your boy.
I did
I did
it.
that. Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And that's who turns into a supervillain. It's Elon Musk. Oh shit.
Oh man, he started off giving me like Iron Man vibes, and then now he's definitely Lex Luthor.
Yeah, he's a fucking psycho. Man. Again, me and Josh, we've had this conversation before. I do not think that Elon Musk is smart. I think he's just rich.
Yeah,
I don't think he knows anything about anything that his companies actually do. I think anytime he's going to talk, someone briefs him and he just walks out there and says the thing. Because if you hear him like talk off the cuff, like
Yeah,
he says
it's
some
not smooth.
pretty
Yeah.
ridiculous, dumb shit. Like,
fuck yeah.
well, thanks, Elon.
Thank
I
you.
don't have a Tesla, so fuck you.
Yeah, no, I don't want a Tesla because all of them keep exploding and
Thank
shit.
you. Until they figure that out, I'm like, no, electric cars. No, thank you.
I
They're
do want that
flammable.
new VW bus though. That thing does look
That
sick.
shit is
Oh,
fire
yeah.
as hell.
I would get a baby
Oh.
blue one
So it's the old,
classic
it's
stuff.
the old wagon, the
Yeah.
old VW wagon, like the hippie van. But they decked it out in like all modern shit. It's like all these compartments and it moves around and shit. It's fucking dope.
Yeah.
It's like the perfect van.
Wow.
I want one so bad. But you know what's not going to get it for me? HAARP.
Maybe they will. Maybe they'll fly it over on a cloud.
Oh, that would be beautiful.
Maybe it'll
That would
wash
be
in
beautiful.
on the next hurricane.
If a hurricane made landfall in North Dakota, it's the end
Hey.
times.
We might have been the guinea pigs.
That would be crazy.
That
mean,
would
yeah.
And I'm not putting anything past them.
be. Yeah. It's them
They can
governments.
do it all. But like I said, I don't think they're zapping your brain exactly. They're more just
You don't think so?
watching radio waves innocently.
You hope not. We
Yeah,
hope
I mean,
not.
we hope not.
Mm.
Oh man, have you guys ever like seen any pictures of HAARP though? Like the
No.
area?
I have.
It's just
Are we gonna
endless
put in
rows
a-
of antennas stretching across like so many acres, and it just reminds me of the Death Star's cousin just got lost and stayed in Alaska.
Like how big are
33
they?
acres.
30.
Like how
Oh,
tall
well, I mean,
or
It's hard to tell because it's such a massive space that like you need perspective.
yeah,
From the
Okay.
pictures I've seen, I don't know. It could be.
yeah, but it's just these antennas going across 33 acres.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's a fuck ton of antennas.
wow.
And,
And I would just
Just-
imagine they're like regular like cell phone tower size.
probably they're probably pretty big. Some of those things
Jeez.
are like massive though. Like I've seen, like actually the guy over here that has, I think it's his own telephone thing, and it's in his fucking backyard. It is so big, like it's not as big as like one of the big steel cable like that have the rows through the forest and shit, but like it goes up pretty high. Like he probably gets pretty good service.
Probably.
He's definitely off the grid.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Bet you he doesn't have to worry about his Wi-Fi going out.
Nope.
Wow.
lucky man.
Yeah.
Mm. Actually, the facility in Fairbanks, Alaska was shut down by the military in 2014.
For what?
It was handed over to the University of Alaska Fairbanks. And now it is open to the public at certain times for tours. Like you can't just go
Mm.
knock on the door, but there are scheduled tours that you can go see the HAARP facility if you want to go to Alaska.
No, I want to see what they're doing on the not scheduled tour hours.
Yeah.
No, it screams like nothing to see here. Like it screams OSHA review. Like if you ever worked in any kind of food service or anything like that, or like any kind of like hospitality, if OSHA's coming through, everything gets cleaned. Everything that is illegal or not up to code gets put away. All the stuff is labeled all of a sudden. All of a sudden, all your like toppings that have been sitting there for like 3 weeks are now fresh and new. So that's literally what I picture happening in HAARP. Is like they're turning around like giant computers and like hanging like posters on it. It's just nothing.
I mean,
Like-
that's almost too perfect. Like, oh, you can tour the facility now. That must mean the real secret operation has just probably moved somewhere else. I mean,
Exactly.
Yeah.
supposed to believe that they were just like, oh, nah, this is all good. We want everybody to see it. And also, I don't want to be with a bunch of like probable cancer causing antennas somewhere, a field of them.
It's where 5G
Who
comes
knows,
from.
man?
No, thank you.
But yeah, no, it's a classic misdirection move. It's just like, oh, these totally innocent public tours where, this is the most secretive research facility in the
Yeah.
world, but whatever.
We're gonna let you in.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, like we were saying, it's so much fun to like theorize on what goes on in a remote location in Alaska that we can't get our eyes on a daily basis. So people look at this, it's shrouded in mystery. It's far away. Visually, it's kind of intimidating. It has military origins. They're messing with the weather. It's literally like the perfect platform for conspiracy theorists.
Yes.
Like all you got to do is set out HAARP, and you can take it down any conspiracy path you want. Pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean, Alaska's just weird anyway. I mean, you got to fly to get into anywhere. Nah,
get
I
on
mean,
a
there's
plane.
like that Black Pyramid in Alaska too. I would love to go and
What?
check that out.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna be able to go see any of that shit.
Yeah, that's like way in there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of. I mean, there's also like a pyramid in fucking Antarctica, supposedly.
Yeah,
A
by
whole
on
episode on Antarctica. We're not going to talk about that right now.
Okay.
Great Ice Wall.
But even if HAARP is not as dramatic as people think it is, the big question is kind of like, if the technology exists, what stops them from taking it further?
Yes.
That's pretty much the government in a nutshell. And anytime
Yeah.
we have new tech, that's the first thing I think is like, oh, if we have this, the government's got like this times 50.
Right.
Oh yeah.
You guys ready to talk about some other formats of weather manipulation?
Oh great, there's more.
Sure.
There's more. Some not as exciting as like shooting nukes into space, but some are used in a practical, everyday way.
Huh. Ethical
we've-
cloud seeding.
Ethical cloud seeding, yeah. They signed up with OSHA. They're passing all their checks. They're doing all the
Nice,
things.
as long as they're OSHA approved.
So we talked about cloud seeding. We talked about humanity's ambitions to control the weather through technology.
I mean, I just wish that they would stop having a whole fucking toolkit to mess with Mother Nature.
They do. They are. And
Yeah.
so I actually saw a farmer, like a regular down farmer,
How'd that
talking
go
about.
Yeah.
Down.
I feel like he's trying to come into my part of the country there a little bit.
No, I think he was like halfway between you and Josh. That's where
Oh,
I think he
yeah.
was.
Like good old
In the
Wisconsin
middle.
guy.
Yeah, but he was talking about fog dissipation,
What is that?
which is pretty straightforward. Like you're dissipating the fog, but they
Oh.
basically either set up like dry ice or like giant heaters to warm up the air to dissipate the fog. So they use it for like when they have to fly crops, they'll use that, and then they also use it as like airports. They'll clear the area and so they can land.
See,
Yeah.
no, that's nice. That's good. It's like, hey,
That-
fog, go on get.
So we're
Right,
doing
and
it.
you would imagine like slowly, locally warming up the temperature probably isn't having global effects.
Yeah, no.
We hope. But yeah, I mean, Joshua, that makes sense. That feels very wholesome. That feels like what harm can that do?
Blowing the fog away. Go away, fog.
You can be
Yeah.
over there, but just not on my runway.
Exactly.
Pretty much.
But kind of like to Lee's point, it's like we assume that doesn't do any long-term damage, and you're just clearing a runway in Iowa or whatever. But is that all there is to it, or do we just not know yet?
I think that particular manipulation is the most innocent, the one we have. Because there's also like hail suppression. And again, farmers love using that because hail just devastates crops.
Yeah. And they're up here.
Crops, it
is-
devastates my car in the summer.
Right.
But
Thank you.
fuck, there are so
Exactly.
many hailstorms here in the
I know.
Midwest.
I want
It's
to
funny
get
you
so
should say that.
behind this one.
Because some of the theories are that insurance companies are in on like making it not hail because they don't
Mhm.
want to have to pay out insurance.
I should
for
ask my
hail
cousin
damage.
because he's a crop adjuster for an insurance company.
Ooh.
Be like, hey,
What do
what's
you
up
know?
with all this hail? What do you know?
Tell
He
me,
gets a weird look
shake
on
it.
his face, then I don't know what to tell you how to continue.
Jumps in his truck and just takes off.
No, but yeah, I mean, how beneficial would it be if like an insurance company can turn a hailstorm to rain before it actually hails?
Yeah, but I mean, at that point, you're just basically bribing the clouds. It's like, hey, how about some rain this time? I just don't want to. I just got a new car.
Yeah.
Don't smash that shit.
It's kind of what we do. It's all experimental. We're just begging science. Whether we're like weakening or trying to steer storms, it's all like fingers crossed shit for us.
I think we just have a problem with control.
Oh, you think?
That's a good point. Yeah. Don't identify with that at all.
Control, power, greed. Any other things we got in there?
A whole
That's
list of the
plenty.
human condition.
I mean, it's pretty clear to see, like Josh said, power and control and any kind of technological advance we get will be used for those reasons. Instead of like helping us completely, they'll only help the military industrial complex and the bankers' pockets. Do they care about people getting wiped out in hurricanes and floods?
Nah.
No.
Do they care about causing cancer and, poisoning generations of people?
Nah.
Absolutely not.
No.
Actually, we didn't even talk about it. And I said we were going to, but we didn't. DARPA and Monsanto and all that shit. So that's a whole. We could really do a whole episode on how long that took. So we were talking about HAARP being formed in '94. The first public lawsuit for the Agent Orange. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Agent Orange?
Yeah.
Which was part of one of the crazy manipulation tactics that they used, like Operation Rainbow or some shit.
Yeah, I know. It fucked up a bunch of people from like
Exactly.
Vietnam.
It fucked up GIs, it fucked up locals, and it fucked up their kids, their kids that weren't born. And not until the 90s
See, that's my
did
point.
lawsuits start being accepted against these families and Monsanto. And with that being said, some of those veterans didn't see any of their benefits. Like, now these veterans are dealing with like crazy side effects. Like, I mean, the most mundane is like sterilization. Other things are like, the mesothelioma and like not being able to breathe and all kinds of crazy shit that they've been dealing with now for like neurological stuff and, like I said, genealogical shit. You're passing it down to your kids. Not until 2000, into the early 2000s, did these people start seeing benefits from the government doing that.
Jesus Christ.
That's a fucking buffer, man. Any of the people that were involved in those decisions are long dead. Who's getting in trouble for that?
Nobody.
Well, that lessened their payout because a lot of these people are dead that would have been beneficiaries.
Well, yeah,
direct
the
beneficiaries.
victims are dead.
Yeah.
They just weighed them out.
And that's disgusting. But like you said, with it, we know that that's true. That's a strategy.
Yeah, no, it's pretty crazy. And like we're saying, like if it does come to light that one day any of these conspiracies that we've talked about with weather manipulation turns out to be at the fault of HAARP or one of these other entities, what are we going to do? Like, what does that lawsuit look like for the average American that lost his house in Sandy?
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, exactly. Like, they don't give a, nothing can touch them. Fucking untouchable. It's so annoying.
Rat bastards.
All right. We're about to wrap up, but let's clear up some of the stuff. We were kind of all over the place with a lot of these theories and science. We kind of mixed stuff together. So let's separate some of this right now. Cloud seeding, real. Right? We agree.
Yes.
Everyone agrees cloud seeding.
I can agree to that. Yes.
But we're only talking about like a 10 to 15% increase in precipitation. So not really those giant massive storms that we think they're making, maybe. I don't want to say anything for sure. I don't believe them.
I don't either. You'd be a fool if you do. I mean, these guys have run the gambit of disinformation and distrust since the get-go. Why stop now?
Yeah.
They don't care.
Well, and then like you said, it's like, what about the chemicals involved? It's silver iodide, not a toxic metal. That's obviously a big sticking point for people. And just because I think we've all learned that just because the FDA says it's safe, but then a few years later, just kidding, now it has a black box warning. Just kidding, later it's pulled off the market. Or the EPA, I don't think after the train derailment and all the in Ohio and all the toxic. Come on, nobody believes this stuff. You can tell me anything's safe now, and I'm like, yeah, okay, whatever. We'll see.
Classic misdirection.
Yeah.
again, and there's, like you're saying, Jen, there's so many instances of supposedly trusted institutions doing all the work and telling us stuff is safe, and then coming out and being like, well, actually, in 10 years, like, your balls will shrivel up and you'll die.
Correct.
Oh, cool. I'm
Yeah.
glad I ate those fucking Fruity Pebbles for 10
Yeah.
years.
Great. Love that.
Yeah. Dude. Cereals are scary. I think cereal is some of the scariest stuff on the shelves.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't had cereal in so long.
And I love Fruit Loops, and now I'm like, great. can't
Fruit
wait to
Loops are
find
my
out what
favorite.
that did.
No, and again, another tangent, but when I was in Europe, it's really interesting to see that, like, their Fruit Loops are like
Yeah.
3 colors, they're dull, there's none of the bright flashy shit, and on like any of their candy that's like American made candy, there's a sticker over the label that tells you about all like the chemicals and shit that are in it. Like, so you see a Hershey bar with like a white sticker on top of Hershey. It just says like, you should know that this contains all this fucking poison.
I
Yeah.
cannot wait to get over there and like not have processed food.
It's
Yeah.
Well, I
It's
mean, there's a
fucking
reason
nice.
that like
It's
the
nice.
French and Italians can eat the things that they do and still maintain healthy weights. And Americans have gone and stayed extensively and realized they could eat so much pasta and all these other typical cultural things that they eat and not gain weight, not feel bad, not have this bloating. So it's
No,
I hope if
It's-
nothing else we just
a
at
lot of
least
it's
adopt.
sugar.
Mhm.
Yes. So
A lot of it is
much.
American food is loaded with sugar. Like even our breads.
Yeah, I know. This is
Oh.
why I make my own bread
Yeah.
now.
Oh, dang.
It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I have the patience for that, but I'd like to.
It's all technology bread maker.
Ah,
That's true. Technology.
Mhm.
Maybe it was made by HAARP.
Maybe
There you
I have to
go.
look at the fine print on the label.
next episode, Josh is no longer making bread.
So a little bread update. Not doing it.
I actually want a bread update now.
You will
I
get a bread
actually-
update.
Do too.
Yeah, I'm gonna. Oh man, I should get a sourdough going.
Oh, see, I'm
A secret
so,
society sourdough.
That impresses me.
All right, guys. Well,
Sorry.
that is weather manipulation. So you can see some of it's real. Dubai is out there actively changing their weather and living in the desert and having rain. And then the government is also secretly getting budgets to do stuff that we still don't know anything about. So,
Yeah, radios in space, my ass.
yeah, I mean, I think the biggest takeaway for us here is like, there's truth in a lot of these conspiracies.
Mhm.
And it's I think sometimes the lack of education and the lack of actual knowledge being filled in with hypotheticals and, the fun shit, let's say. And then it just gets taken away. And the government's never going to be like, no, that's not it, because it's the perfect misdirection.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They love that shit.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to clear up anytime soon.
It's never going to, because
No.
they control the weather. So why would it clear up?
Ah,
It's always cloudy over here.
Dad jokes for days.
yeah. Well, that was our like official first conspiracy. Ooh, tinfoil hats off. I wish
I'm
I had like a
keeping mine.
real tinfoil hat.
I mean, I'm gonna make
know.
one
I got-
for the next
I know, we
episode.
need
I got mine
Yeah.
planted. I got a metal.
getting-
I got a steel plate. That's why I'm bald. No hair can grow on me.
I'm getting
But my
Reynolds
head just
wrap for
opens up and
mine.
like, oh shit, Mr. Gadget. Go
Oh
Gadget.
shit! Go gadget!
I love it.
All right, strangers. It's been a blast. If you haven't already, subscribe, like, follow, rate us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. Leave a comment down below. Literally, just do all the things before you leave. Thank you.
Yes.
Bye.
Keep
Bye.
it strange.
Thank you for listening. If you would like to join us as a guest, suggest a topic, or have a story you want us to share, we'd love to hear from you. Email us at SSOSpodcast@gmail.com. For more behind-the-scenes updates and exclusive insights about SSOS, make sure to follow us on social media. And don't miss out on the fun. Be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Again, thank you for listening to the Secret Society of Strangers podcast. This show is an independent production, researched and crafted by our passionate team. But we couldn't do it without all of you. We truly appreciate your support. Embrace the unknown, for not all secrets are meant to be kept. Farewell, strangers.